right
So
on me.
that's high school.
That doesn't work out.
But then
Yeah.
that comes over to Belvedere, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If
It
you,
actually comes over
Honestly,
to, it intersects
I
where
don't even know.
Belvedere,
You know, when you do.
they all three intersect.
Those things,
Yeah.
you learn how to
You know, somebody-
your
I can show you all of
relative.
that.
Did you get any
So
discount?
here's Main Street. Here's
yeah, no, I just,
I
I
guess
couldn't
it's-
remember the name of the street he lived
See, I
on.
had
That's why I couldn't remember. Isn't that awful?
made the payments.
But some people so that'd be nice. That's not common knowledge, she said. She said it's not MTA, so something happens out of it. Yeah.
I'd like to call this meeting of the Timberville Town Council order, April 14, 2022. Please stand and join your pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're starting out with the subdivision part, right, AC?
That's correct.
Why don't you?
So, sent all that information, sent the information out to council. Hopefully, everybody had a chance to review it. It's pretty simple. Council heard a request a while ago for the subdivision, for the concept of it. And Planning Commission, Mr. Montalbano presented the town with a subdivision plat. And it went to the Planning Commission, and Planning Commission has recommended to the town council to approve it after they reviewed it. Basically, it would be 4 lots fronting on Belvedere Street, 1 coming off of Main Street, and 1 being accessed off of Community Circle in the division of the property. As I say, the Planning Commission has recommended approval to the town council.
We just need a motion to approve.
Any questions on anything?
Anybody have any questions on the?
So it's just one coming off of Community Circle, is that what you said? It's a
Well,
duplex though, right?
the duplex is completely separate from the property that's being considered here. That was a lot of its own.
Duplex does its own thing and it's not part of this.
Yeah.
Even though it's drawn in here.
What's there right now is not part of this, or what the
What
hole
they're-
that they're
yes.
digging right now.
Yeah, that's its
Right.
own lot that they were able to get started on without this approval process.
Okay.
I guess the one he's talking about is that one to that big 5-acre lot or whatever that thing is.
The one that's shown is, lot 5 is the one that would be accessed off of Community Circle.
3.28 acre lot, yeah. And that's the entrance down the bottom, little L part. Right here.
Mhm. Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Any other questions? I know they're still working through the water and all that stuff. It has nothing to do with this, right?
Not with the subdivision of the property now.
Any questions?
I move we approve the subdivision request.
Thank you, Ned. Do I have a second?
I'll see.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand, please. Oh,
Abstaining.
you're abstaining. Yeah,
Yep.
because your name
And a reason.
And the reason is because my property line is on there, so I don't want to.
It works. Works either way.
It does.
And there's no one opposed because you ran out of people. Okay, good to go. We'll move down to the normal stuff we do.
Thank you.
Everybody have a chance to review the minutes. And does anyone have any questions on the minutes or anything noted in the minutes, excuse me? If not, we need the motion to approve.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Do you still want us to go over? I haven't been doing,
Yeah,
I
let's do-
skipped the roll call.
Let's do roll call.
Let's do roll call. Go ahead.
Yes.
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 Yes,
Sorry, I slid back to the old way.
I'm here.
Yeah, Mark's here.
Time machine.
I flashed back to 2 years ago. Forgot how we do it now. Okay, treasurer's report. Yeah, exactly. I was pre-COVID for a second. Everybody has a copy of the treasurer's report. Anyone have any questions for Melinda for the treasurer's report? Okay. We'll move down to bills for payment. Any items on there that anyone has questions on? If there aren't, then we need a motion to approve the bills.
Motion to approve the bills for payment.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? Do a roll call vote. Ned?
Yes.
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 Yes,
Cool. Okay, Chief, you got anything for us?
As always, the police department's been busy, but the springtime, so ordinances are the flavor of the day. Grass is growing, so officers have assigned areas in town. Town's divided into sections. Officers are assigned to each section, so they're checking right now for primary ordinances that they'll be proactively enforcing are inoperable vehicles, which include vehicles that are partly disassembled, not running, not registered, that kind of thing. Brush and overgrown grass, and then accumulation of junk or trash. And they'll be working with people that have violations on their property, get that taken care of. They go around and identify the problems, and then go back and make contact with the people and work to address all those as a community, get that taken care of. So springtime, it was used to be done routinely every day, and then of course COVID changed everything. So we're gonna have to make up some ground for things that have happened in the last year or two, but that hopefully won't take too long. So that's all I have.
And just to, like you put in the Facebook friendly reminder, it's 19th, correct?
Yes.
The 19th is everything trash pickup, so if you have something, now's the opportunity to get rid of it. 'Cause
Two tires and a truckload of trash.
tires and a
Goes
truckload
wherever.
full of stuff.
That's right.
So if you got stuff in your yard and you want to get rid of, haul it to the street and we'll pick it up, or the trash man will pick it up. Someone will pick it up.
That's right.
And the officer's gonna remind people of that too. I know AC sent out a letter or two to some folks about reminding them to get it out there.
That's right.
Okay. That's all, Chief?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Public Works, AC, I saw you got Chris's report, where there's lots of things on that. Do you have anything to add?
Anybody have any questions on Chris's report?
They were busy.
They're always busy. I have just a couple things. Planning Commission talked about the National Fruit property with the old warehouse buildings down here. I spoke with the new owner and asked him, he was supposed to be getting some pricing on that brick building to see what it would be, whether he's gonna keep it or demolish it, whatever. He said he's had a hard time finding somebody to get him a price on the roof, which we can relate to. But he is still actively working on that. They have made some definite improvements on the property, but as far as the status of that building, one nice thing is that it's fenced in. You don't have a lot of people walking around it, so we would look at it right yet as a public safety issue. But he is looking to trying to figure out what his options are going to be for that property. And I have some things for the budget, but we can wait till we get into the finance section. The only other thing I had is just make sure that everybody knows that the town office is closed tomorrow for the observance of Good Friday.
So you can do all stuff at the finance.
We'll do that when we get into the finance section.
Okay. Business industry, anything that they on any empty properties and so forth. Do we know when the Walgreens, is there a closed / open date yet?
I don't have any dates on that time.
Good job on the sign. AC, it's the small things you gotta work on. We had we have monument signs now, not the big tall ones. Well, when they submitted their sign approval, they basically made it 10 foot tall, which is per ordinance, but it had this huge base on it, and AC went to up the chain of command and got it made so it'd be more aesthetically pleasing to the town, so.
And it's more in line. That's one of the things that the planning commission, I'm bringing the planning commission too, is there's some things throughout the land development regulations that need to be updated and changed. It's a living document, you can't anticipate everything that's going to pop up that is addressed by that. So we're always, always have the option of changing things, and that's one of the things that will change. Because I went around and measured the other monument signs, most of them had an average of like a 2 foot base to a brick base, and they were looking at 6 or
It was like
5 or
6 foot
feet,
base or
something.
7 foot base and a 3 foot sign. It was just.
It would have looked weird.
It would have looked odd, right?
But they were, when I got in touch with the one gentleman, he was very willing to work with it and said, oh, don't worry, we'll take care of that and get it changed.
It did.
So we'll get those things put in so that there aren't any questions in the future.
I would have heard a car, too.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, that's it for that, right?
that's right.
Parks and Rec. I don't think you see Chris's report, you can see all things going on in the park. There's just a lot to list. I think he's gonna be wrapping up the stuff he's doing on the park, and we're gonna be concentrating a little bit on the PD remodel, get that going. I think we're gonna start with the interior walls and get some of those put in. I'm gonna get a siding quote tomorrow. It's hard to get a quote on anything right now, so we're just begging people to give us a quote because people are full. And the HVAC gentleman did what he could do already, and he's just waiting for us to get the walls in. So it's starting. We're not seeing anything. Looks like we're gonna do everything inside that you can't see, and then start on the outside as soon as we get a contractor who's not too busy to do anything.
And who has helped to
Who has the people to actually do it. Yeah, it's really.
If you get the materials, you pick out what you want.
Oh, yeah, on that, talking about materials, I'll jump back to Public Works here real quick, but we got the quote on the materials for the spar line, water line extension. The 8-inch pipe, Chris said they're expecting to have that maybe at the end of May, but all of the rest of the fittings and everything else we're looking at, I think it was 9 months out, something like that. So we're getting this, I told Chris, I said, go ahead and order everything. I said, that way we can get on the list and we'll get it when it's available. Otherwise, it's going to be even longer before we do it.
And more expensive.
And more expensive, that's exactly right.
And the estimate cost of that pipe, as you remember when we looked at the project 4 years ago, it was about $150,000 per project. Right now, the pipe alone is $118,000. So we gotta use these ARPA funds to the best of our advantage to get stuff done, so they don't go up to $1 million or all that kind of good stuff. Okay.
On Parks and Rec also, we had the Easter egg hunt this past weekend. Thank you all to the council members that came out and helped out with that. And
It's great.
we had a count, biggest one ever that we know of, but our count, we had 401 people in total that showed up. Usually, I think kind of the big ones would average probably around 250 or 270. So I think everybody, we hadn't had it for a couple of years, right? And so I think everybody being cooped up inside and not having events to go to, they're like, hey, there's an event, let's go do that. So it was really nice.
Okay. Why don't you drop down to finances.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So the couple things I had on the budget, as you know, we went through our budget meetings, and so the next step, I've got the budget pretty much finalized based on those discussions. Because of the proposal, proposing to lower the real estate tax rate from 11.5 cents to 10.5 cents per hundred, it still realizes an increase of more than 1% in the actual revenues that are collected, which means that we have to have a public hearing for it to be put at that rate. It can't be done at the same time as the budget public hearing, and it has to be advertised for 30 days. So it puts us beyond the May council meeting when we would normally have our budget public hearing, and it doesn't make sense to have the budget public hearing prior to that discussion, or the public hearing for the setting that real estate tax rate. So the soonest that we can have that meeting, I've got the ad all done up. All I need to fill in is the date of the meeting, would be the week of May 16th. And that's assuming that the newspaper can get it in time. The 14th of May would be on a Saturday, so that's why I'm saying the week of this May 16th. So if everybody has their calendars or can look at that and let me know what your availability is. We can get that set, and then we'll have to have a public hearing for the budget. We can do it anytime after that. We can't do it the same night, but we can do the budget one after that. And then I would say do that budget public hearing before the June meeting, and it has to be at least 7 days before the June meeting, because you can't adopt that budget within 7 days of the public hearing for it. So trying to get all those things lined up.
Yeah, I don't show anything on my calendar, so whatever.
You said the week of the 16th?
The week of the 16th, yeah.
How about on the 16th?
I mean, I'm good with that as long as, I mean, I can send the notice over to the newspaper and see if they can get it advertised, because they'll have to have it advertised on, it might have to be a little bit later than that. Because
later.
Yeah, it have to be a little bit later than that, because Saturday is going to be the 16th.
Right.
So,
And I'll tell you from foreclosure act, you can't ever count on for doing it exactly when you.
Right.
Takes a day or two.
so let's say the 18th or later.
Let's just do the 19th then. That's the 18th or later.
So is everybody good with the Thursday, the 19th?
Sure.
It should be, you know, all it is a public hearing on that proposed rate. You know,
What time? 6 o'clock.
hold on a second, we've got some.
19th's not good for me.
Okay, we'll move it to the 18th then?
I can't do it the 18th.
Yeah. And what's after that, the 20th?
Do it on the 19th, I just won't be here. We still have a quorum.
Yeah.
I guess we could. Let's go for the 19th. I mean, as long as we need four to be here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll go for the 19th.
What time?
Yeah, I don't hear.
Probably let's do it at 7 o'clock. That way it gives everybody a chance to get off work and things like that.
Okay.
You'll send out a reminder.
I will definitely send out a reminder, yeah. And then we'll schedule
The regular budget
The-
hearing.
yeah, we could do that. I would say if we could do that the first part of May, if we could do May 30th, 31st, or June 1st, then that gives us the time before the June council meeting, which is on the 9th, to be able to have the days that are supposed to elapse.
Well, the 30th is
The 30th is Memorial Day.
Is that what y'all suggesting? So 31st of May or June 1st?
I have
Everybody good with either of those?
31st, not the 1st.
31st? Tuesday the 31st work for everybody?
31st.
Okay. So,
So what's that, public?
That's
Public?
public hearing for the budget. Mhm. And we'll do that at 7 o'clock also. And then, once we have those, assuming nothing changes, we can, council can adopt the budget then at the regular June meeting to go into effect July 1st.
So 19th for the one and the 31st for the other,
Yep.
and then we're good.
Yep.
Okay.
On the budget, I told Don before the meeting, I actually did some checking around. We were looking at some other things. We don't actually have to include depreciation in our budget document. So I've gone ahead and removed that. I checked with all the other towns and checked with our transitioning auditor, whatever his status would be right now. And they say you don't have to actually include that in there. So it makes it cleaner. So I've gone ahead and pulled that out, and it's easier to see that way with it.
So we no longer have to have a transfer of savings that never happens.
Right, exactly. Yep. And then, did I tell ever, I can't remember if I told you all about the addendum to that the Office of Management and Budget released about the single audit. I feel about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're good to go. That's all I have. Finance.
Okay, keep on moving here, personnel. I mean, we've been having our budget meetings, it's all we've talked about, a lot of this personnel, so I think we've taken care of that a fair amount. Plains District Memorial Museum, you got some first, Sharon?
Yes,
And then we'll turn it over to Beth.
For the month of March, total visitors was 125. Total working hours was 174. Membership is still at 128. And the Dinner Dance, our biggest fundraiser, is April 30th. And we do still have a couple tickets left if anyone's interested.
Okay. Come on, Beth, come on up there.
Monday, June 9th, 1924. The movie given at the Columbia Theater in Timberville tonight was The Village Blacksmith. It was one of the best pictures given here in some time. There was no bridge in Timberville for 41 years, from 1843 to 1884. William G. Thompson was the driving force behind getting the bridge in Timberville. In June 1883, Thompson and a group of citizens went before the Board of Supervisors to request money for a bridge. They would not provide any. So the next month, in July 1883, they went again. This time they allowed $3,000. $1,500 would come from the 1883 county budget and $1,500 from the 1884 budget. They ran out of money and asked for more and received $350, but were told that if any more money was needed, the citizens would have to pay for it themselves. The piling for the support of the pier of the bridge was driven to a depth of 103 feet below the riverbed before hitting solid bottom. We have a lot of other details about the bridge. That William Thompson, the bridge was built, but he didn't get to see it being used because he died before it was open for use. November 7th, 1929, Blaine Landis was appointed as assistant at the Timberville telephone office, replacing Helen Good, who resigned and got married. Some of these we've heard before. 1908, there was a poultry processing plant located at the site of the old farm bureau along the railroad tracks down in the old part of town. Saturday, April 26, 1924, The Prince, the Pauper, written by Mark Twain, was showing at the Columbia Theater in Timberville.
Thanks, sir.
Bev, how did they get across the river before the bridge?
I think
A barge?
they just had to ford the river.
They ford.
Now, if they had a high water, I guess people would stay on the side they were on. But,
I never thought about that. How did they do it?
What's the depth there now? It's too much to forward.
No, it's no.
Certain places you can get across.
At that area, it's probably about 2 feet right now, 3 feet today, but it gets down to
Let's
about.
go try it in your truck after the meeting.
I send my grandson out there and stuff, because I know he can walk it. Yeah. Okay, other business. Anyone else have other business at this time? Okay. Public comment. We have a couple visitors. Anyone want to make a comment tonight?
I do.
Oh, Mr. Turner?
Appreciate all the work you did for this ordinance to help us out on Granny Smith. I did have 2 questions about the ordinance that I want to hoping to get a little clarity on.
Okay. Hopefully AC can clarify.
Okay. The 3.1.11.7 talks about the administrator and or the agents that are authorized to investigate. So the administrator or the designated agent may inspect the building according to the procedures set out in the Code of Virginia. And so one question is, as a property owners in there, do we have that ability as a designated agent or an agent or someone that can?
He's the designated agent, I think.
There's no other property owner cannot do that?
No, it's not a private right, it's a governmental right.
Okay, and then well, then it's not anything we could do. Then the question I had about seeking an injunction, where would you go to?
Now, that's a different matter.
Pardon me?
That's totally different. That's
Yes,
totally different. You can enjoin your neighbor from loud music or whatever. It's a private civil matter. It's not enforcing the law, it's enforcing, well, it's the law too, it's not a codified law. It's common law. But yes, it's kind of like restrictive covenants. We've talked about that here many times before. You know, the town can't enforce a restrictive covenant, and you as a developer know what I'm talking about. But the neighbors can. So it's almost, the town can enforce the occupancy limits, but not necessarily what goes on inside the privacy of someone's home. But if that activity of your neighbor impedes the enjoyment of your property, then you can file a civil suit for a nuisance.
where do we do that?
Rockingham County Circuit Court.
That's what we do, and any owner could do that.
I would suggest a consultant attorney, because it's not easily won.
That's true, I imagine. Well,
I mean,
appreciate
they can
y'all.
file it themselves, but it's not codified, it's just a common law nuisance.
Yeah, well, I appreciate y'all's help. I just didn't want to be a complainer all the time. I want to be able to try and do something.
I'm a complainer all the time, and it doesn't bother me a bit.
All right, thanks.
Anybody else? Yes, sir. Just give us your name and
Owen Joyce.
Owen.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I've been here, this is my first meeting in a year. I haven't heard anything about safety. Like, just for instance, Maples Avenue. People flying down that road.
Okay.
And I think I've pretty much got like maybe 80% under control. Got a witness right there.
Every day he's out there with
You
his
the
little
gentleman with the
sign
sign?
saying, slow down.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
And it's working.
I thought you looked familiar.
Now, I will tell you, some of the ways that I've done have not been unorthodox, we'll put it that way.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it getting the job done.
Okay.
So, but I'm just wondering, I mean, like I say, just the safety issue. I mean, what can we do about the kids speeding up down the highway?
We got a gentleman right there we'll work with on that.
I've heard them gentlemen before. So, you know, I mean, nothing against you, but they have a job to do too.
And that's part of your job.
So, but anyway, I'm just saying, something needs to be done to make about that.
Understood.
Thank you.
No problem. Nice meeting you. Anybody else? Okay. Glad we had a quick meeting because we had some very long meetings lately, so thank you everybody attending. Enjoy your evening.